Sexual abuse is the worst thing that can happen to anyone, especially to a kid. People who take advantage of someone's innocence are nothing but pure monsters, some of which lies in our own house. In a study conducted by National Center for Biotechnology Information, NCBI, USA found that India has the largest number of child sexual abuse cases in the world. According to it, for every 155th minute a child, less than 16 years, is raped, for every 13th hour a child under 10. Childhood sexual abuse is a major problem in India, and 1 in 3 rape victims is a child. 1 in every 10 children is sexually abused once in their lifetime, and every second child is being exposed to one or the other form of sexual abuse. Here we bring you some heart-wrenching stories of childhood sexual abuse which prove our country is full of pedophiles who want nothing but to exploit every child they see. 1. When I was 6, my cousin stayed at our house for 2 months. Almost every day, sometimes several times a day, she'd play really loud music, tell my family she was teaching me how to dance, sexually abuse me. For many years, I was so scared to talk about it. Because everyone kept telling me that women who got assaulted were always at fault. When I finally spoke about it at 23, I needed therapy because I couldn't get intimate with anyone without feeling guilt and pain. 2. When I was 3, my cousin sexually abused me in a park on several occasions. He told me that if I told anyone about it, he'd hurt my sisters. I still can't talk about it because people think it's not macho and manly, and somehow makes me homosexual. Not that anything is wrong with being any of those things, but it's a topic too sensitive to start a debate over. 3. My best friend's grandfather abused me at her house after his wife's funeral. He grabbed my breasts in his room and tried to force himself on me. I left and everyone thought I was crying because of the death. I told my mom later, who told me that men express feeling by violence. I cried myself to sleep for 3 years after that day. 4. My uncle sexually abused me from when I was abused 6 till I was 12. He would ask me to do down on him, and when I would cry because I'd choke, he'd hit me. At 12, he told me he'd rape me if I told anyone. When I told my mom, she asked me to never tell my dad because he'd kill me. Like it was my fault. It stopped because he died. 5. My dad's brother groped me on several occasions when I was a child. Once, he grabbed me by my face and kissed me on the mouth. I was 8. I'm a devout Catholic, so I felt like I had sinned. I asked my sister what I should do. She told me he'd done the same thing to her. Finally, when he made non-consensual kissing a regular thing, I asked my parents. They told me to make a confession at church about it, and not do it again. I haven't been able to date anyone because I feel like I have these issues that'll come in the way, and I don't want to go down that road. 6. When I was in class 6, my maternal cousin abused me. He'd touch me and make inappropriate comments about my body. His demeanor towards me in general wasn't very brotherly. I didn't understand what was happening till my best friend told me that his touch was not right, and I started distancing myself from him. He once lifted me up in front of a girl who was crazy about him, to make her jealous. She didn't know I was his cousin then. Of course I hinted to my mom about the abuse, but she lives in denial because she likes her sister. 7. When I was 7, my father abused me after yelling at my mom. I told my mom when I was about 10, because until then I didn't know how to talk to her about it. She left his pedophilic ass and filed a lawsuit against me. Thank God my mom is a badass. 8. When my 16-year-old cousin raped me, I was 7. He told me that we were playing a game that grown-ups play. When I told my parents, they told me to never tell anyone about it. We still meet his family like nothing happened. My parents asked me to dance at his wedding. What the fuck is wrong with them? 9. When I was 7-year-old, my dad's friend's son took me to his house when nobody was there. I used to enjoy his company, so I went with him without a doubt. When we reached his place, he started touching me inappropriately and asked me to go down on him. When I refused, he threatened to kill my little brother who was just 2 years old then. After I went down on him, he rubbed himself against me and tried to penetrate. After satisfying himself, he dropped me home. I was too scared to tell anyone, so kept things inside me. I still feel violated and dirty. People who seek sexual satisfaction from innocent kids are none less than monsters. It may be a fun for you, but the person who goes through it lives with a mental trauma throughout his life. Stop exploiting innocent lives and let them live.